we're live. We're live with Mr. Erik Polik. Am I saying that right?
I
don't think I've ever asked.
I don't know if I really even know the answer because my last name changed.
It did. We don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
You're a Russian
Polik,
agent.
Polik, yeah, whatever floats.
What is it? It's is it 17th today? 17th?
16th?
Okay, 16th.
I think so.
December 16th, 2025. Say that because I don't know when this is going to come out. But in relation to the class, we have about 3 more sessions left, finishing up the cherry on top, the creme de la creme on top of trauma. So we're wrapping it up, putting a nice bow tie on it, and gearing up for our spring class on January 6th. That being said, I really wanted to take the time to chat with Erik. Erik's been one of our go-tos. Did you come back in the beginning of summer or tail end of spring? Like, when did you come back? Because you had a brief hiatus.
Yeah, tail end of spring.
Tail end of spring? Okay.
Sometime after graduating.
Yeah, so Erik took our class summer of 2023 and did really well. Spring 2023? Oh, okay. Yeah. I just remember celebrating with you on this in the summer of 2023, and was runner-up to becoming number one, to being number one in the class, and he will forever have that. But as he embarks on paramedic school, I think he's going to gun for number one in medic school, get that golden stethoscope.
That's the goal, right?
Right. So because you've been so you're a frequent flyer as an instructor in our class. You're a familiar face. I think it'd be a great opportunity to share maybe more of your background. You've been out of school for a little bit from Loyola. I know maybe one of the things that you would share when first meeting people would be your accomplishments on campus with Narcan as well, but maybe there's other things that you probably share more these days, maybe less worky as well. But also, depending on who you're talking to, like you're very excited. I see it in your actions for, starting medic school in January. So yeah, I mean, I guess like right off the bat, like what should people know about you?
Yeah, I think that was a really good point. Just kind of who you're talking to, I guess. And I guess to kind of make a general consensus, I guess I did graduate from Loyola in this previous spring with a bachelor's in chemistry. Yeah. The goal was always medical school right after that. I think kind of things have recently taken a turn in terms of my direction and path to medical school. Not saying that it's not something that will happen, but...
We turned him, guys.
Yeah, I did get turned. I really did get turned.
Who would you attribute that to? Like, this like eye-opening moment of, I might like paramedicine. Yeah,
I think, honestly, it could contribute to a lot of people. I think Dr. Mo is one of those people who really shows a good story of what a different path might look like into medicine, and to follow your passion at the end of the day, right? I mean, we're all here because we love what we do as instructors, but also we're surrounded by some of the best people in the field, with some of the greatest instructors here as well. And hearing everyone's story is kind of inspiring in the fact that there's no right way to do it. And I have fallen in love with EMS, paramedicine in the future, hopefully, and I don't really have a reason to run away yet.
Yeah, I think, like you said, like everyone that has come through our doors, at least on the instructor side, has a palpable, like, genuineness about the journey that they're on, and they're not trying to just collect experiences for the sake of an end goal or an end destination, and that is, like, Dr. Mo especially, like, very fluid in the sense of, like, open-minded to what the journey can offer and provide, and that's almost like it's inspiring / crippling of like, what, there's so many more like paths I can take, and that's in a way also reassuring as a student. If you're a student listening to this, know that you are surrounded by many individuals that have embarked on a non-linear journey, and that it's reassuring in the sense of there are many paths that have been paved for you, despite being on your own path.
Yeah, think that's really well said in terms of just do it yourself. And you learn a lot of things in life when you just kind of try to go on those little side quests in life. And
side quests,
I think that's one of those popular words running around now.
So that being said, like, do you also keep in mind, because I know you're also working on research, but do you keep in mind the expiration date of your prereqs to med school? Like, there's a deadline. There's a clock ticking to the window of med school. Yeah,
I think the biggest clock ticking right now always that I think about is the MCAT. And I did do well on my first go around through the MCAT. And, you know, some schools like to see within 2 years you use your MCAT score. Within 3 years for some other schools, kind of just dependent. But after 3 years, it's that clock's ticked, and it would be time to retake it then after that. And I think every single day I think about it, to be honest. And I always just keep telling myself that, again, if you would have told me the position I would have been in 2 years ago, where I am today, I would have told you that's not something that I see myself doing.
What were you doing 2 years ago? Junior year of college? What was that?
Yeah. Were you at the turnaround point.
2 years ago, so that's 2023. So did you, and like meaning finish the class?
Yeah, like at the end of the class, sure. I think that's a good place to start.
And then you did a brief stint at Superior as well.
Yeah.
I mean, did that reinforce kind of what you wanted to do, or did that kind of turn you away, or how is that? And not, I guess not nothing on Superior. It's more so maybe like that aspect of healthcare.
I think I had some of the best times at Superior and in interfacility transport, IFT. And it does suck to hear people talk down on IFT, because at the end of the day, you learn as much as you want from it. And if that's reading through patients' charts that you have, if that's asking questions to people like a paramedic that you're working with or something like that, you know, you can learn every single day. And that's the field of medicine, is continuous learning and continuously striving to achieve more and learn more. I think that's every single day it brought me back there, and I was just excited.
Yeah.
There was never a point where I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't really want to be there. And then those heartfelt conversations that you have with some of the patients, it really makes you a little more eye-opening to certain situations that people are going through, makes you appreciate the small things you have in life.
I wonder if you'll have the bandwidth to have those meaningful conversations once you're a physician.
Yeah.
You don't really have the time during a transport. You don't have a transport.
Sure.
And your hospital, your boss is going to be like, next. Like, you got to keep moving it on.
15-minute doctors, right? I hope it never goes away. I think it's just one of those passions that I've learned through my parents and especially my grandparents, to just continuously care about each other. And at the end of the day, like, when everything gets taken away, all you have is the people around you, no matter what the situation is. And to just be grateful for that, and then to connect with those people always and continuously is kind of the same aspect I try to take into medicine. Look at everyone as a family member. And sometimes it's difficult, sure. But to have that perspective of, I want to treat you like I would treat my own mom on this ambulance, or as a physician in this room for 15 minutes. I hope I carry that for a long time, and I hope that fire never burns out.
Yeah, I don't think so. You're very self-motivated in all your endeavors, and I wonder, like going back to the conversation of being open-minded, if you've ever thought about, like, what if I find something that I like more than med school?
Right. Well, that's exactly right. And like my ambitions of going to Alaska after paramedic school, and who knows?
I saw a reel. I don't know if I sent it to you. It was a training thing of ski patrol.
I did see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you posted it, I think, on
did I post?
stories.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, I want everyone to see this. Where like 4 ski patrol people are skiing someone down during cardiac arrest, and there were 2 providers performing compressions while they were skiing. It was pretty wild. You know, and that's pretty appealing. And so, like, there's the, like, fulfilling aspect from the day-to-day, but then there's the financial aspect of, like, is that going to pay the bills? Maybe. I have no idea what a ski patrolman makes. I have no idea. And so, like, are your basic necessities and then some going to be met? And I think a good question, it's like what we, like, share from, like, you know, and from someone who's 40 years old, 30 years old to a 20-year-old, I wonder if it's worth heeding that advice. I'm sure some is, like, because it just time compounds certain things. I wonder if some of that advice is obviously worth taking and heeding, and then there's just some advice that would take away from you enjoying your 20s. Like we, you still want to like yes, how important, like how valuable delayed gratification is, but like, man, you don't get your 20s back either. It's just like, enjoy it at the same time.
I don't try to look at it as delayed gratification. I think I've tried to really mentally steer myself away from, yes, obviously becoming a doctor is so many years and so much work, but when you get to appreciate every single day, I'm grateful and happy every single day as well. And I don't ever try to look at it as like, oh, until I am this person, or until I have this job, or until I'm making this amount of money, I can't be happy. Because if you look at it like that, what happens when you get there and you still don't feel happy? Mm-hmm. And I guess it's just kind of exactly what I said, just every single day, just reminding yourself that I'm so happy to be here today. And
it's harder for some.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And it's still hard on myself. And I say it like I do it, but sometimes I do have to remind myself that as well. So it's unique in terms of reminding yourself in medicine that someone is grateful that you're there that day. And no matter your level of education, whatever, you make an impact. And that's really important to remember, even as an incoming student, right? Mm-hmm. You don't know, maybe a lot of people come into this class with career switches and stuff like that, looking for more fulfilling jobs. Some use that term. I would just say it is, but it also can also not be. I guess
like what aspects of it are,
Sure.
It's probably the service aspect.
Sure, for sure, the service aspect.
Maybe the direct impact.
Yeah.
That you can have.
Turn someone's day around on the worst day of their life. Be there for someone. Listen to someone, I think, is huge.
Yeah. Life skills.
I think, and those things just, make you feel warm in your heart every single time it happens. Mm-hmm. And grateful that you were there in that moment, even though some of those moments might be really tough on the patient, on even yourself sometimes.
Is there that component of like learning the ability to handle tough situations appealing? Like becoming resilient?
Yeah. I guess you kind of just pull the curtains down over some of those emotions sometimes in medicine, in terms of you don't let those hard moments kind of get to you like that. I guess medicine is just one of those things where you're going to be faced with some of those really hard times, and working through that and being there for those people has just the greatest meaning in life. And that's just, at the end of the day, person to person stuff, whatever, if it's medicine, if it's being a restaurant server, which I used to be, it just brings me so much joy to make someone else happy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is that just the happiness that you're able to give someone, or going back to like advice that's imparted from people that are older than you. I think at this point, I think Lawrence can agree, not that he's listening to this episode, but realizing like what's enough is something that I think a lot, like mid 30s to 40-year-olds kind of start thinking about, especially as you kind of try to break free from like the capitalism, materialism world of like, you're in this cycle of like just accruing bullshit and climbing a ladder for the sake of what, to what's that word, to like appease or gain the approval of people that probably couldn't give a shit about you. Yeah, very true.
And at what point do you realize like, why am I doing this? And here's the thing, it's like there are also people that love the toys for the sake of loving the toys, wants the big house simply for themselves and not because they want to show it off to anyone else or gain the approval or validation from anyone else. And I guess that's a different journey as well. But why are you doing this, and why do you want to make a certain amount of money? Like, what is a certain amount of money going to afford you? And so when you realize what's enough, that's kind of your goalpost, and that kind of creates a sandbox to play in a little bit.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
And that's just not money, right? That's just like on a day-to-day, what does that look like?
Right. And for me right now, it's
because that could include looking like making the official diagnosis.
Sure.
Which, would then mean like, okay, I'm going to go to med school.
Yeah. But, and right now that fulfillment and that comes from not even a money thing right now for me. It's being with the students. I think there's one of the greatest feelings is giving someone those aha moments and those light bulb moments where it's like, what you told them is something that they might carry with them for the rest of their lives. But also you taught them the skills, the knowledge, and the way to approach different situations. It's a great feeling. And I don't need to be a doctor for that feeling. And maybe as a doctor, that feeling might come from something else, like you said, making that diagnosis. But kind of backtracking, it's just, I appreciate every single day, and that I appreciate right now in my life, I'm able to do that for someone else in terms of being an instructor. And that might change in a year, where my path is, where I'm at, what I'm doing, and I might get that fulfillment from somewhere else. But I think that's what I always have to try to seek in life, is helping someone else out, and how can I help you with what I know, and how can you give back towards me as well. And
a buddy says it's all like neurotransmitters and chemicals, right?
Sure.
So like it's like it's similarly, and now I'm just like an analogy to finding the one. It's like there's never just the one,
right?
And so if you relate that to a career, it's like, what are the tasks or even the people that you work with, or the amount of money that you need to make, that will set off the dopamine or the chemicals that you think would be set off by making a diagnosis?
Yeah,
but that's a journey.
Right.
It's just like you don't have to have the answers right now, but I guess a realization of like there could be other things that would do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's every single day you kind of just look for those things, and when you find it, you kind of stick to it, and you just kind of keep letting life carry you and where it takes you, and hopefully you find those other.
I think you listened to this guy too, Chris Willix.
Sure.
But a recent guest, Elaine de Petone, said that one of life's greatest questions is trying to find the thing that you are good at, or so quote unquote passion. And he described, I've never heard it described like this, but like when you're born, you're like shattered into a million fragments, and you are taking a metal detector and you're just like finding these fragments, like beep, 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 beep. And surprisingly, he was like, when you feel envy, that could be your metal detector kind of going off a little bit, of like they're doing something or they have something that I might want to do. I don't know, follow that maybe.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like it's almost like it should be, and everyone's life mission is probably different. But to find and discover what sets you off, because when you find that, then you can be in service through that vessel. And then I think universally, being in service is definitely one of those things that creates fulfillment.
Yeah, it's just, and there's no right answer to finding that thing either. No,
yeah.
And there's no timeline either.
Besides like continuing to explore, be curious, and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and that's kind of the motive of my 20s right now. Just keep going with whatever, like you said, wherever the metal detector is beeping at.
We've previously had conversations about how people have remarked on your maturity
Sure.
and on how you act older than you are. And you then shared how much pressure that kind of is placed on you to act accordingly.
Sure.
And what happens if you make a misstep or don't act accordingly, or don't act according to expectations. And then we shared that, you have so much life ahead of you, and that it's okay to screw up over and over and over again. And, even people in their 30s and 40s are like, they might have obtained a peak of a mountain that they were climbing, and then, do you start over? Or do you just stay set, on that peak? And so how do you feel about that now? It's just like after having a couple weeks to sit on it, and has it kind of like rolled off your shoulders of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, yeah.
I actually had a really awesome conversation with I had become really close with one of the Jesuit brothers at Loyola. And he's in his 30s, and he's doing his second master's right now, up in Canada. And I actually asked him that same question, because it was not too long after we had that conversation. And I guess a good way that he kind of put it in perspective is, don't take the risk when that risk affects more than just you, when it starts affecting other people, and you can possibly do harm to more than just yourself, but you start affecting others. And that's not a clear answer to every single decision or every single risk that you might possibly take in life. But if it's something that could possibly make you better, such as investing or whatever it is in yourself, that's awesome. But when those investments are taking away from maybe your kid's tuition to go to college, and you start having a toll on that part of other people's lives, which you're fully in control of, maybe it's not the best decision. And again, life is about risks, right? I'm taking a risk right now of going to paramedic school, holding off on medical school and stuff like that. But it's affecting me. And if I do screw up, or if I go back and I have to take the MCAT again, I can't do well, or for whatever reason, I don't end up getting the same score, then...
Unless your parents are helping you with medic school. Because then it could affect them.
Sure.
A little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not as much as if you had kids and stuff, obviously. But I don't know if kind of realizing that applies even more pressure. Just like, people have... Because like that's definitely a realization I didn't have when I was in college. My parents supported me through college, and I fucking pissed their money away. And I think I'm forever in debt for that. And I think there's merit to making your kids work through college to some degree, and then on that off chance of like, hey, I need a few extra $1,000 to make it through medic school or buy a car or whatever. It's just like, be there, I guess. But like, I guess to not hand everything over.
Yeah. I mean, and you see that with celebrities all the time, right? They're like Gordon Ramsay talking about how he's never going to give any of his kids his wealth and stuff like that. And you hear that a lot. And it's always good, I think, for the youth to have that fire under their butt, in terms of that you're not going to have everything handed to you. You do have to go above and beyond to maybe work for what you want, and achieve the goals that you want, are not always just simply as, just going for it and it happens. You have to work extra hours. You have to work overnight. You have to go to school and work. And that's something I'm going to be battling in paramedic school, right? Going to school and working.
Yeah.
And it's, but it's motivating to me, at least. It's that my goal and what I want takes some hard work, and then when you get to the end of it, it's gonna be real sweet.
Yeah. Right now on the instructor staff, we have a pretty interesting kind of transition period of individuals that are just finishing medic school or in medic school. Like, what questions have you been kind of asking them to get your mind right as you prepare for January?
I kind of haven't, and I've maybe been avoiding asking a lot of questions, because the questions I have asked, a lot of people have different answers to, and it's kind of...
Is it program dependent or...
person dependent almost, like how someone studies, how to stay on top of material, how to get over certain things in terms of like challenges you might face along the way. And while it's great to hear some of those things, I've learned so much about myself through college and studying and stuff like that, that I don't really want to mix my thoughts. And I'm just going to stick to what I know. And to me, that's reading the textbook.
That's such a good answer. Because I don't know if this is going to paint, I don't know, but like, when students ask exactly like what I just asked, like their peers of like, man, what are you doing? Like, what are you studying? Especially like already in unit 4, it's like, damn. It's like you shouldn't have to ask. You wouldn't be asking if you just tried. And that's such a, I hope that doesn't come off as condescending, because it's just, it goes back to, I think, the self-motivation. And that if you just did a Google search or a YouTube search or just perused our study guide, I think a lot of those answers are there already as far as how to study. But don't let me just stop you from asking those questions. And I guess to provide context to the listener, Erik, how did you prep or study for the EMT class, and how did it differ from undergrad?
I didn't read a lot of books in undergrad. A lot of the textbooks
that kind of carried over.
Yeah, and for me, the EMT class was what I've always dreamed of is like while you're in undergrad and stuff like that, being a chemistry major, whatever science or STEM you're in or whatever you're actually majoring in, you're very focused on that one thing. And knowing that you're pre-med and you want to be a doctor, you sometimes feel like it's not there enough for you. And your classes are very dull in terms of like, oh, how am I ever going to use this as a doctor?
But you still got to do well.
Right, exactly. You do got to do well. And I think I would use the EMT class as a way to distract myself and remind myself of what my goals are and that I'm very passionate for medicine.
So that was your fire? Like that was your fuel?
Yeah, and it was, I would use it as an excuse not to focus on other classes for a little bit, and I would flip open the textbook, and I loved reading the textbook actually, and I
thought you said you didn't read the textbook
for undergraduate classes.
I thought you said that for the EMT class.
Oh no, I read the whole thing.
You read the whole thing.
The whole thing.
What didn't you do? Because you said you didn't do something.
I didn't study with people, and you always do
that's
recommend
what you
that.
Didn't do. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
you do recommend that people study with each other, but that just kind of comes back to that same point we just talked about.
The average shows that working with, and it really depends on who you're working with, but any more than 3 is probably a party. So taper it down to 1 to 3 people, but you want to find a group that you feel comfortable enough to ask what some might deem a silly question. And like me, oh man, I feel like this is a dumbass question, I can't ask Victor. But if you had a group of 3 other individuals that you could bounce questions off of, or our Discord, which is a fucking ghost town right now, ask
Surprising.
away. Yeah, I don't know. It
was booming in the summer.
It was, but it's okay. It's neither here nor there. Yeah. So yeah, you're an outlier in the sense of you're a lone wolf.
But that's just how I knew that I learned.
Very self-aware.
And that's it. And I mean, that might be different to a lot of people. And I think I've helped a lot of students kind of find their way of learning. To some that's writing things out. To some that's, closing their eyes and reciting it 5 times. But to each their own. And I think this class is one of those where it's, we don't go super duper in depth, and you can go down a rabbit hole in any of the topics we talk about in terms of learning way more about it and how the body's really responding to different things on even the biochemical level. Mm-hmm. But there's no need for that. And this class does such a great introduction to medicine in terms of you learn a lot of term and definitions, and a lot of things are see this, do this. And trauma is maybe a better example of that, where you're kind of just treating as you go, and you do have to learn your little counter indications, you have to learn your indications for things, and if you stick true to that, you do really well in the class. Mm-hmm. And I found that for myself when I was going through, say, respiratory in the beginning of the class, and you're learning about all these different devices. One of the things I would do is make a table with all those different devices, write down my liters per minute, and I would write down counterindications and indications. Mm-hmm. And it kind of just stuck with me. And I kind of still even remember that table when I first went through it. And then when I would hear things and crazy things are going on in trauma patients and stuff like that, if you just stick true to what you know is the foundation of it, you don't get it wrong. Mm-hmm. And but it's different for everyone, I'm sure, in terms of how that click might happen in terms of how they remember it. But I do recommend that they just try as much as they can. Flashcards don't work for me. I had to use so many flashcards for the MCAT through the psych-soc sections. It's learning 1,000 different terms and definitions and nuances to different definitions, and I hated it. But there was no other way around it. And when that happens, unfortunately, there's not much you can do about that. And but there's some other people that they kill it when they do flashcards, and that's how they learn.
Yeah. Have you noticed you evolve as an instructor? Because out of all the instructors, I know you're very good at reciting, like sometimes word for word what I've said.
Yeah.
So I know that you're paying attention, but have you noticed growth as an instructor?
The first time I spoke up there, I don't remember what I even said.
I
blacked out. Like I'm sure I went all red, blacked out mentally, and I probably said 2 sentences.
I remember when Joey said he was like nervous for public speaking. I think you guys are killing it.
But it's a skill, right? And it's just something the more you do, the more comfortable you get with it. And I guess to answer your question, I think a lot of my recitement comes from the reason of I need more experience. And that's what I'm so excited about paramedic school is going to hopefully do for me, is that I will have my unique stories. I will have more of that to say, and I will have different examples to give. And it won't be such a recitement speech up there versus wow, I really saw this one time. This was really unique to this, and this is how I handle this. And I think that might even make me evolve even more. But I think I've just gotten more comfortable and more fluent with how I'm describing things. And I really love to just break it down from the simplest thing and just start working back up. And especially when we get towards the end of class, some people just get so lost in how deep everything has gotten and how complex things are, how they're overlaying over the top of each other. And I'm going to be teaching someone respiratory later this week.
One of ours?
Yeah, one of ours. That still needs to retake, and we're at the end of the class. But and you notice those faults in their knowledge when you're going through different scenarios, and you're like, inadequate tidal volume, and they're like, oh, perfect, non-rebreather. Yeah. And things like that. And it's I love just, and I think I've tried to do my best, but I do a good job at just breaking things down from the start, pausing, and just kind of building on top of that, especially one of those topics being CPAP. That one can definitely go over a lot of people's heads in terms of the depth and the PEEP and everything like that. But when you just pause, you draw things out, and you find that way to kind of click with the students. I feel like I've kind of found that a little bit, and every single time it evolves. Every single time I reteach it, every single time we go into a new semester, you learn tips and tricks, and then you also learn things that people still screw up on in the last day of class, and you really try to emphasize those things. And we all talk about it as instructors, things that we want to emphasize more, things that we feel like we didn't do a great job at emphasizing, and that's all you can do is try, right?
Going back to fulfillment, I think not living your life on autopilot is one aspect to that, right? So it's easy. There's a point when I started podcasting, when I started podcasting because I did feel burnt out teaching this EMT class. And I think some of that burnout comes from obviously not having your bold ideas be met with enthusiasm, but rather be shut down. And then you kind of fall into a rhythm, and you're kind of in this cycle of fall, spring, summer, and just you're in a hamster wheel in a sense. And it was the same guy that talked about firing those chemicals that shared how hard it can be to find something that you're maybe naturally inclined towards, whether that's teaching, and then you already have a baseline set of skills within this emergency medicine vessel, and to kind of leverage that, and perhaps if you can change the environment that you're in. So if you have the means to leave the university or shop the program around to other places, that was kind of what we were doing. And then here we are, and now I could totally run this class with my eyes closed, but you guys are I never thought I'd have almost 50 instructors with us as well. But I guess the fact that it is on the back burner and you are in a so-called hamster wheel, it's that part could be on autopilot, but planning the next graduation gala or building a physical magazine, creating content, things that are kind of adjacent to, helps continue stoking the fire.
Yeah, and I think that even in the teaching realm of that conversation, hearing how other people talk about different topics makes you even more excited to start teaching it again. You're like, oh, that was a really good way to put that, and maybe I'll use that next time, or maybe next time there's a question on this, that's a better way to talk about it. And you just keep growing. And like you said, you can teach this class with your eyes closed. Sure, to a point that I could as well, but it's those new ways that you learn how to teach. Yeah. And that just keeps growing. And that's so exciting to me, is that, oh, I could do this better. And I love growth. I love continuing to better myself, and however that is, I'm like, ooh, that's exciting. I'm excited to do that again.
Yeah. And the other part to the excitement is obviously working with new students every every class. And then with you guys, like, I hate to say it, like, it's kind of a revolving door at times, but I think it's becoming less and less of that because we're seeing more medics rather than just pre-meds. And so it's the pre-PAs and the pre-meds that typically leave us after they're moving on to those things. But with medics, I don't know, if it's a good enough environment for them to want to continue teaching, I think they'll continue teaching, or if it fits their schedule. So it's becoming less and less of that revolving door. But at the same time, it's like seeing individuals like yourself that are very self-motivated to grow and want to give back to the students is also very, I don't know why that's rewarding. Because I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, at least directly, like, it's all you. It's like you will get out as much as you put in, and you're putting. I would say you've put the most number of hours in our fall class. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's very. I guess we struck gold. We feel very lucky to have individuals like. But here's the thing. It's like we also have individuals like Jack that would do this for free.
Yeah.
It's like, you wouldn't do this. I mean, it's like maybe a class here or two, but like, it's like, how do you sustain this relationship? Well, you know, you just take care. It's a two-way relationship, you know? So it's like, I hope you feel taken care of.
Oh, absolutely. Every single time. And the lunch specials every time. And,
let's not put that out in public. You know, it's, I guess, to manage expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's done more than that for me. I think this being here as an instructor, I like I said, I would have never guessed. And I remember when you came up to me at the end of my class and were like, Eric, I feel like you'd be a great fit to be an instructor. It was so exciting. I was just like, oh,
did that
really
thought pop into your head at all?
Nope, not even in the slightest.
Really?
Not even in the slightest. Because the people teaching my class I felt were like just so smart. And I was just like, wow, I don't even think that was a level that was achievable.
Wow.
And especially in such a short amount of time where I was like, oh, I know I'm going to be going to medical school. I don't know if this is worth for me to like invest my time in right off the bat. But I was like, why not? And again, a side quest carries you into a different career and maybe carries you somewhere else. And maybe so if I never came back, I would have never went to paramedic
What if
school.
I never asked that or said that? Would you have? I'm sure you would have, because you're a pretty social guy. But like, what if you didn't come to graduation?
Yeah, right. I mean, you just throw out all the hypotheticals too, right? But it happened, and that's life sometimes. And you're like, wow, that one moment, and here we are. And look how much has changed in my life. From having you in my life and having all the other instructors in my life as people I can call my friends, has taught me so much. Things that it could have taken me 50 years to learn some of the things I've learned about myself in the last 2 years, or maybe never learned about myself. Probably would have never been an instructor anywhere else.
I mean, I wonder if you could learn some of these universal aspects of yourself in another vessel, like if it wasn't for medicine, you know, if you were climbing the ranks of a restaurant.
Right. Yeah, that was the other goal, was to be a chef if I never went into medicine.
So that being said, there was her name's Anna. She took a class years ago at UIC, and I bumped into her at Buffets.
Oh, nice.
And she worked for Superior for a little bit.
Okay.
And I think wanted to go to medic school, and just didn't end up. The schedule or some other thing just didn't pan out, and then pandemic obviously happened as well. And I think at the time she was like maybe beverage director at Boca, which is another like fine dining Michelin rated restaurant. But now she oversees Hog Salt, and I just bumped into her at Buffets one of the nights that I went, and she went back. She went back to hospitality. And so it's, I don't know. I think the skills that you're learning right now, these communication skills, writing skills, oral skills, personable skills, universal. I think you can take it wherever you go.
Yeah. It's just how long would that journey have taken somewhere else is something I think about. How long would it have taken me to be comfortable to speak in front of this many students? Have I ever gotten that opportunity to be more of a, I guess, kind of public speaking skills?
Not until you're an associate professor
sure.
as a physician.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or I'm sure you're giving speeches as a resident too, presenting research and things like that.
Sure. But just, life did this, and I'm so grateful for that. And
yeah, us too.
Yeah.
what do you think? How do you feel is like the current, like how are we currently? Like, what can we improve upon? Because, you know, we have a fresh slate with January, with our spring class. Is there anything that we should do or say ahead of time, or things that we should no longer say or do to prime them for spring? I guess, and that question is twofold, for the student's aspect and then the instructor aspect.
It's a loaded question, only because I feel like every single semester we do kind of
changes,
tweak a little bit of it, and we notice different outcomes every single semester. So, and then it comes down to, like, is it because what we're saying is making such an impact, or is it just the luck of the draw of the students, in terms of how motivated they are, how on top of it they are, how well they know how to study. But I think going into this next semester, I think the first and second unit are one of those most foundational units, because after that we just go into neuro, we go into abdominal. It's
kind of like a cycle.
It is kind of a cycle, but those first 2 units are really fundamental to
setting the tone, or?
Setting the tone, but also, like, if you nail that, and that's respiratory, cardiac, all that stuff, if you're able to nail that, it's something that's never going to go away. Like we tell them on day 1 when we do CPR, hey, your patients are going to continue to go into cardiac arrest throughout this class, and it still kind of takes your breath away when you see someone that doesn't know how to do it. And I guess starting off on the right foot is maybe what I'm looking for, and that you kind of nail it right in the beginning, and you just work just a little bit harder maybe than you thought you were going to, and that is going to bring a lot more success later on in the class, I feel.
So what do we say to them?
Yeah.
Do we say what you just said, like give it your best and then give it some more, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, what do we say?
You know, and I will be more, you know, cognizant of like applying less pressure though. So I won't be applying as much pressure.
Yeah. How do you feel like that bit you in the butt this time around? Do you feel like it did? Do you feel like it was something that that you did more aggressively this semester, or was something that was I
think it's kind of like two sides of the same coin. So I think personally people need to take some accountability. But as the facilitator of the program, as a business owner, it's like you want to make people happy. And the end, you know, the bottom line is that if individuals don't feel comfortable asking questions and approaching me, and I wonder, that's probably going to be the same sentiment simply because I'm the owner.
Yeah.
So regardless of the amount of pressure I apply, there's that kind of pedestal feeling of like putting the business owner on the pedestal. So I guess, what does that mean? Does that mean I have to smile more? Do I have to, I don't know, be more personable, perhaps? But I remember like saying specifically, a student shared the quote that I said of like, I don't know if I said it on day 1, but it was very early, and I was like, half of you won't be here by the last day of class. I get that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought fear is a pretty potent motivator, and I think it is for some. Other students have said that they needed that kick in the butt, and then, you know, certain students don't respond well to stuff like that. So if that's the case, like certain students aren't responding well, then I got to cut it out.
Sure.
And, you know, that pressure will come from other places, as it should. Like reality will set in eventually, but I guess I don't want to be the excuse why someone isn't trying hard or isn't succeeding.
Yeah, fear is one of those things where
I try to do both. I try to showcase like what's possible with your license. These are all the things that you could do with your license. And then fear, you know, we go through that exercise on day 1. It's like, well, at the end of this class, what are you going to do when you don't pass this class? I don't know. And I think to me, I thought it was a pretty valuable exercise. I honestly, I haven't asked the students at the end of a class, like, so did you go back and think about like what you wrote down, and like if that played a role into your success? Maybe I will this time.
Maybe we make them write letters to themselves in the future.
Oh, like what was the prompt be?
I just remember like when you're in like kindergarten, they make you write a letter to yourself from into the 3rd grade or something like that, or to the 4th grade.
And do I hold on to it, and then do I give it back at the end?
And then maybe give it back at the end, and maybe that's something that they'll look forward to. Maybe we
You know what? That's a fucking brilliant idea.
Maybe that's something that we can do for the students in terms of like, how do you feel where you're at day 1, and then where do you hope to be at the end of this, and what are the goals with it?
Yeah.
And what challenges are you afraid of, and where do you feel like you might succeed in this class? And you know, that can be anything from, it doesn't even have to pertain to EMS or medicine. It's just life. Because we learn that life's really hard all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And curveballs are thrown at everyone's life every single day. And you know, how do you stay focused on what you're trying to do? And for that sake, it's this class.
Yeah. I know we don't do interviews for applications and stuff, but the individuals that have come to either see the space or pay their tuition in person, I've gone through that spiel of this is what the trends are looking like. This is where people struggle with, and I don't know. As much as we always talk about how many people leave this course, like on average right now, like it's 10 per lab session. I don't think we don't take pride in that, and so our goal is always to see everyone succeed. And it's like, how soon can I catch these people, whether it's through the retake process or meeting these individuals prior to day 1. I don't know. That's something I'm always working on.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that's what the letter might do for themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good idea. I like that, because you know, at the moment we just tell them to place it in a spot that they'll see over and over again, like a bathroom mirror or a nightstand, but I don't know if they actually do that.
I don't think so. I'm sure it goes in the garbage when they walk in.
Maybe it's just tucked away in a backpack or a folder. But you know, thinking of the finale episode of The Last Dance, which is like a documentary I always refer to in this class. Like one of the last meetings that they had as a team was like writing like a memory or a fond memory that you had being on this team, and then you're gonna say it out loud, and then you're gonna put it in a coffee can, and they're all gonna burn it. And it's like super spiritual and cathartic, and obviously we can't do shit like that here, but how do I recreate kind of that sentiment through that? And I think a letter to yourself would be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool to hand that back on the last day of class. I'm
gonna write one as well.
Sure.
Yeah. And then give it back to me when I finish paramedic school.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like now that we're talking about this, this is an awesome idea. Like it makes me excited to.
I need envelopes.
Yeah, you need envelopes.
I have CET branded like fucking paper shit, notepads, but envelopes. That's a good idea. Yeah. I will get on that. How do you? So coming off our holiday party, I honestly did not think it'd be 10 degrees outside, and we're gonna do research on our next holiday party for January. How do you feel from the instructor's aspect? You know, from my perspective, like you and some other individuals are doing a great job at kind of keeping the team together and checking in on people and being the quote unquote glue. So like as someone that kind of is aware of how the team is doing from a team member's perspective rather than a business owner's perspective, like and I feel like I have a probably accurate perspective as well because I'm here all the time, but how do you feel about it?
I love all of them. I can say that right off the bat. It's really cool to hear that. And I think it's something obviously with being in the same field and sharing some of those same passions and goals in life. But with everyone kind of just putting themselves out of their comfort zone, I don't think anyone that I know of was a public speaking major or anything like that. I
never thought of it like that.
We all kind of face some of those early challenges together in terms of, like you said, being nervous when you're talking in front of the class.
I never thought of it. I guess we've been doing this for so long.
And I've had other instructors come up to me and they're like, you do it really well. How did you get to that point? And I don't have an answer for them. I kind of just keep trying, I guess is my answer, is that keep doing it, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll become, and the less you'll stutter, the less you'll kind of trip up on your words, less ums and buts and stuff like that along the way.
Yeah.
But I think sharing some of those same challenges, even in an aspect like that, has allowed us to become so close to each other. And obviously some of the team outings that we get to be fortunate enough to be a part of, with when we all get to come together, because, you know, seeing some of these instructors only a handful of times throughout the semester, some are more frequent, so you get to see them every week. Some you see once or twice every 4 months. It's nice to have people, I guess, everywhere, in terms of everywhere along the different journeys they're on, and also come back and relate to teaching and what do they enjoy about it. And those are some conversations that we do have a lot. Why do you keep coming back? What do you love about being here? And like you brought up Jack's name earlier, he's just one of those people where he just, you know, he loves doing it for people coming into the field, and he's passionate about it. And that's inspiring to even myself, where I'm like, yeah, this is like more than just a job. It's inspiring to be here with everyone. But to kind of circle back, yeah, the team's great. I think we've been just so lucky, and you've done such a great job by picking such a community, and also being able to hold the community together in a healthy way. To a point where, you know, sometimes you do feel like they're like a family.
Yeah.
You spend 12 hours a day with them. I mean, do that with anyone and you become really close, but
yeah.
doesn't mean you'll always like them.
No. Yeah. That's why like some of your fondest memories are on an ambulance as well. Yeah. Thank you. It's, I think I coasted for a very long time. I think we got very lucky because a lot of our instructors are referrals, by current instructors, or they were alumni of our class. So they have seen how we operated. I've seen how they operated, at least as students. And then, you know, as we continue, we'll find people that I've never met before that could be referred. But I guess creating more of a system to, I guess it's easy to let people in the house, right? And then it's like hard to get rid of people. So to be more thoughtful about like who would be a good fit, as far as like personality wise and work effort wise, are they consistent? Do they show up on time? Are they communicative? All that stuff. Because all the other stuff, like as much as we emphasize like doing well on the final exam or the final practical, before joining the team, it's like, I could remediate you on CPAP.
Sure.
It's just like, but do you know how to call someone out? Like, it could be an instructor that's been here for a couple of years that they slipped up and they made a mistake, and like, how would you handle that?
Sure.
And yeah, it's just like, I hope I'm holding up my end of the bargain of like, because I've been in situations where bosses don't do shit when the weakest link in the chain is like struggling, and all the other links are like, what the fuck, dude? Like, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating. It's just like, why should I care more than this weak link that isn't caring? And everything that I do kind of feels wasted.
Yeah. I think another way to also know that you're doing a good job at, creating the community is how many students come to you at the end of each semester saying, is there any chance I can join the team? Because I think it also reflects onto the students. Sure. But it also, I think the way us instructors are around each other, they see that sense of friendliness and community and something that people love to be a part of. And that's why you have people coming up to you at the end of the semester. Obviously, the more people that are comfortable with that, but they're like, I would love to be a part of the team. Mm-hmm. And it's because we're able to create such a environment where it does feel like family. And you see that in how comfortable some students get by the end of the class with some people, and we can start playing jokes and we can start all that stuff. It's because it is kind of a family here.
Another kind of side quest is like to see or try to get or create such a memorable experience in the fall that they come back to graduation in the following September.
Yeah. And maybe that'll be a classmate, an instructor, whatever that reason might be. Yeah. We try to hit it on all fronts, I think.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of graduation, like what, 'cause I know we've talked about like having a panel. So like we can have a PA panel, a paramedic panel, med school panel, that stuff. But is there anything else, and then maybe Joey wants a dance floor, but like, is there anything else that you feel like would be valuable or helpful or just would create a more memorable experience like for graduation?
The last graduation was awesome. Start off with that. I think everything from the venue to the space that we had and how beautiful it was awesome. I don't think I have a good answer for you in terms of anything I would change. I think you're right. Adding a panel would be awesome. Adding some more opportunity to talk to some other people that you might not be as comfortable as coming up to, like other instructors. And I think that panel would do exactly that. Maybe I love having some of the CFD people there. I think that's also really awesome. And having, like when Chief Summers was there and whatnot, I think that also just gives them that like, oh my God, like, wow, this is like such a cool person. Some people come into this class like, oh my God, I can't wait to be on CFD and I can't wait to be working for the city, and seeing some of those people that you might even look up to and like you don't even realize yet is really cool there. And I think the panel would do that as well in terms of ambitions, goals, how to navigate life into these different fields. So short answer is no. It will be something I will always think about how else can we improve, but I've never had a bad experience at a graduation. I think they've always been really special, and I always really hope that everyone comes back and makes the opportunity to, or if they can, to make it to that graduation, especially like this class. I mean, their graduation's in a year, which I hope as many of them can make it as I hope, because they earned it. They did earn it.
Yeah. I gotta trend or keep track of the data for next fall, because unfortunately this fall like struggled, and a few people were like, maybe it's seasonal depression, and I wonder if that'll be the case next fall, where we had a higher number of individuals that need to retake an assignment, whether that's an exam or a practical, compared to our summer and spring class. That's a question I haven't answered yet, so we'll see if it continues trending that way in fall 2026. But that's all I had for now, Erik. We're very proud of you, very happy that you're on the team. You are an integral part of our team, and we're excited to see you continue growing as a medic student. But do you have any last thoughts, final thoughts, or last questions? You're always welcome to ask any questions for me, but now that you have me on the air, anything you want to share or ask?
Right on the spot. Yeah. I think I'm just excited to see where everything keeps going. I'm really hopeful that
I found a new office.
I was gonna literally
it has a pool table
and a
pickleball court.
Oh God! Wow, the instructors wouldn't be around. We'd be over in the other room.
Rent is significantly higher, but I think we can still swing it.
I think just to see where everything keeps going, and I do have a question for you. How is your nonprofit situation looking? Yeah, because I was really excited about that.
It's official. I just got like the bank account stuff, and I can pay for a website. Yeah. So I have to make a website, build a website, and apply for a grant, and then. But like we have kind of nothing to show for it right now. All we have is like kind of a mission statement, and the tough part is that we all have our individual busy lives, so it's like hard to keep coming to like board meetings and things like that. I don't know. I feel like
is there still a burn and a passion for it, or is it becoming more of a headache now that you're
it's not a headache, but it's a what's like a twinkle? I don't know. It's just like it's a small flame at the moment. And there's this book, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but there's this book called Ready, Fire, Aim, meaning like to fire before you aim, and to minimize the amount of time between ideation and action. And through action, you'll learn what you need to adjust, and you'll iterate and you'll continue iterating. Whereas like our bottleneck is like we have nothing to show for it. So when we apply for grants and grants look into us, why would they give money to us? We have nothing to show for it. So it's like we're in the hamster wheel do you attack? We're in the cycle do you attack to create action. And so, yeah, it's like it's a work in progress. So I always come back to what I have the most control over, which is the EMT class. And I think it's going well. I think it's going really well. I don't know if I keep saying it before, like when we had 125 students and then 150 and now we have 175. Really curious if 200 is going to be like in the future. Like we have the demand for it. It's just like, is it something we want to do? But you know, if we have a bigger space, we wouldn't have to repeat ourselves so many times. It'd be a lot more realistic to do something like that, like 200 people. Then our bottleneck wouldn't really be class size anymore or instructor burnout. It would be clinical opportunity.
Yeah. I think one of the things I do hear the students talk about a lot is the difficulty with the 4-hour lectures online.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just try to remember myself back to that time when I was sitting in those lectures, and how I would try to stay focused. Yeah, I just keep constantly hearing that they're like, oh, I just can't stay focused for 4 hours. I can't.
I think it comes down to a discipline thing.
Yeah.
I agree it's hard, but there's a 30-minute break.
Yeah.
It's very easy to pull up another tab. Speaking from someone that would do that, like just like, let me just go work on something else, like while I'm listening to Marty.
Do some shopping.
Whatever it is, it's very easy to do that. And but Marty and I we've talked about that of like, what if we did 2 days of 2-hour lectures? And it's just like, well, now someone's got to pull up another day for just 2 hours. I don't know. It's just like, just get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever see that being an in-person situation?
That's a question for Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think so if we had the space, because he probably wouldn't do this 7 times.
Yes.
But if we had the space, because that's how it was at UIC, if he had the space, I don't think he would mind. I mean, I think he would do that if we had a medic program too. But yeah, space is our bottleneck. I think we're crushing it right now. And so with a bigger space and what I'm seeing out there, it's like, it's a significant jump, but I think it'd be worth it. Yeah. And like I said previously, like you guys would be making more on an hourly rate just so you guys make the same thing, just less repeating.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean,
honestly, by then you might be out of here. I don't know. It's just like, maybe
you
not.
Can't get rid of me. I really hope to never actually stray away from this place. Even like, I hope that medical school, if that ever happens down the road, that it's somewhere in state and that I can still find the time over my breaks and stuff like that to come back. And, you know, we see it from some of the PAs and the medical students now.
From time to time. I just have no expectation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I did not expect Rowan, and even like, I've never worked with Mo, right? Prior to that. First time kind of meeting Mo was like looking for office space. And I didn't think he'd come back. And then Kimberly, I'm sure if Kimberly was in Chicago, she'd be more present. But being in Peoria is pretty far.
Yeah, I think, and I just keep seeing the vision in my head of more locations of CET. And
yes and no. It's like, then it comes back to clinical opportunity. We don't have clinicals everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know. Maybe down the road, people will be like, "Oh, can you come open up an office here? We have a hospital for you."
Yeah, I mean then you come back to like, what's enough, Vic?
Sure.
Because this is great.
This is awesome. Yeah, this is definitely awesome.
It's like, part of me is like, yes, I want to grow. I want to be the biggest program ever. Sure. Biggest program while maintaining the same quality consistently. And at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, don't ruffle too many feathers. Don't step on too many toes. Don't get too many people's attention. It's just like, keep doing your thing. You have a solid thing going. Just be happy with it.
Right. And that kind of comes back full circle back to the start of the conversation. What's enough?
Yeah. It is enough. And making subtle tweaks to increase the the student's experience, the instructor's experience, I think is what I can currently work on, while kind of perusing rental space here and there. But yeah, that's where our head's at.
yeah. And like I said, I'm just excited to see where it keeps going.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Where, if someone wanted to reach out to you, what's the best form? Is email the best form?
Yeah, I'm very attentive to my email. So obviously on the mentor list, it's there. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the easiest way.
Okay.
I'm not going to air my phone number on
I don't think anyone
live.
ever has. And if you did, I'd cut that shit out.
So yeah, email I'm very attentive to. So that's a very easy place to reach me. In this office during class time, you will find me in here probably. So that's another place you can find me. Yeah, and I think office hours are also awesome. So if you're future students, take advantage of.
Relatively recent concept.
Yeah, I remember when 2 years ago we did the online mentor.
We tried that.
Yeah,
like
a Zoom call.
Were you a student or were you a mentor?
I was a mentor.
You were a mentor.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
because I wanted individuals like the people that weren't here, like Kimberly, like that wanted to still help out.
Yeah. And do you feel like it failed?
I guess short story, yes. Because like I can't force things to happen. So like I think I assigned groups, and I took notes from when I was in medic school. And I don't know if they'll do this for you at St. Francis. They won't because they already paired you up. But our clinical coordinator paired us up according to personality. Like they kind of like, Victor's a little bit more flexible. Let's put him with someone that's a little bit more rigid as a preceptor, or like the culture is a little bit more rigid, but Victor can handle it, like stuff like that. And like, or just keeping two kind of very strong-minded type A personalities kind of away from each other. It was really cool that they took that into consideration. And so taking a note from that, I would try to think of, based on what little I saw on the first couple of days of class, of like, this person kind of spoke up, this person a little bit more outspoken, and I wanted to plant one of those in every group to try to be the glue of every group. But what ended up happening is certain students would just not communicate at all and just not show up to quote unquote office hours that these mentors were holding. So and then eventually it kind of came down to like one-on-ones between certain students and instructors. I mean, it is what it is. So that being said, like, having a physical office hours, and just whoever wants to show up. I'm not even taking reservations or RSVPs. It's just like, just show up.
Yeah. I've loved office hours. I think the students do as well, in that it's, don't have to show up in your uniform, go ahead and make it as leisure or as intense as you want, and ask away in questions. I feel like a lot of people have learned a lot in office hours, and it's been great to see a lot of people grow, and good job with that one. I'm happy with the office hours. I think it's been really good.
I think maybe that was one of the more positives that came out of this class, in the sense of we now have like on average 2 to 3 instructors per office hours instead of just one. One kind of gets lonely, especially if no students come through. And then I think any more than 3 is kind of a party, but it depends on how many students are asking questions and stuff. So it's been good. Like, despite the increased number of retakes that our fall class has, like more and more students are taking advantage of office hours.
Yeah. So I hope that it continues like that.
I think it will. I think it's really interesting, because like we saw the increase in that, but like a decrease in Discord. So
yeah,
like I for Discord, taking a screenshot of a typical question and popping it there, like that's what I see Discord being used as. It's just, I don't.
And a lot of people just will come to me and they'll be like, "Oh, I had this really weird question," and I'm like, well, like you just said, Discord, pop it in there, or screenshot it and bring it to class, or email it to one of us if it's, prior to an exam and you're like, I need this question answered.
Yeah.
But yeah, My Brady's is awesome for future students. Stay on top of those questions. And I did point this out to Vic when I took this class, that note sheet that is under the supplemental files, I believe it's called. It's document sharing. Yeah. So any students listening to this, go under document sharing. There's an awesome note sheet that's chapter by chapter, bolded word by bolded word, and you just write in a definition for each one. And I think that might help people kind of stay attentive while they're reading. Some people kind of do daydream off when they're reading, and and I think it's a good way to kind of keep yourself focused while you're doing that, is making sure you're nailing some of those key concepts. And I think then that also really helps with making sure you got all the material you need to know. And I have that whole thing filled out still, and sometimes I'll still open it, and it was a real help to me when I took this class. So I hope that some other people find that success with that as well.
As an instructor, we distill like what's kind of really pertinent. So we never expect our students to read every page of every chapter. But a good place to start, like let's say there's a presentation on the TV, is, it's like, because we're going to be flipping through those slides pretty fast. So is to pay attention to actually like what the instructor is talking about. Because the slides will be there. They're public. Go back to the slides after. But I would pay attention to what the instructors are talking about.
Yeah.
That's a pro tip.
Yeah.
But that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you got a little bit better sense of who Erik is, because we'll see how busy Erik is during medic school, and how much we'll see of him here. But reach out if you have any questions for Erik.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thank you.
Adios.
Adios.